Okay, so now we're going to talk about units and unit conversions. In this course, we use what's called the MKS, or System International System of Units. MKS stands for meter, kilogram, second, which are the units of length, mass, and time. So the meter is a unit of length, and the kilogram is a unit of mass, which is kind of like weight, and the second abbreviated S is a unit of time. And of course the kilogram is kg and meter is m. Okay, so those are the units that we use. So one thing that students often have a hard time with is unit conversions. A lot of times this is what I see. They'll say 1 year is equal to X seconds. And then try to put some kind of a thing here and see if they get the answer. But there's a problem with this because there's going to be a lot of stuff here. It depends on how many days, how many hours, how many minutes, and all that. So what you want to do is to not do this, but instead write 1 year and multiply this by 1 over and over and over again until you get the units you want. And here's what I mean by multiplying by 1. So maybe I don't know how many seconds in a year, but I do know how many days. There's 365 days in a year. What I've done is I just multiplied this thing by 1. 365 days equals 1 year. You can do this over and over and over again until you get the units that you like. Because this year cancels with this year. Well, now I got to get rid of days. A day is 24 hours. I just multiplied it by 1 again, hours. And an hour is 60 minutes. And a minute is equal to 60 seconds. Now I finally have the units that I want. So I have to cancel out days, have to cancel out hours, the minutes cancel out. And then what I have to do is multiply my original thing, my original 1, by 365, 24, 60, and 60. And when you do that, it comes out to be about 3 times 10 to the 7 seconds. And seconds is just abbreviated S. This is accurate to 1 significant digit. That's all we were starting with, so I'm not going to bother with anything fancier than that. Okay. So how would you do this if you had a problem where you had to convert square meters to square kilometers or vice versa? So a square meter is written like this, and a square kilometer is written like this. And you probably already know that there are 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer, but there definitely is not 1,000 square meters in 1 square kilometer. This is wrong, and I see a lot of people do it at least half the class, usually more like 3/4. That's definitely incorrect. Let's follow the same procedure that we used when we converted units on the previous slide. 1 square kilometer, we're going to multiply this by the 1, right? Here's 1,000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer. But you can't cancel out this with this, and you can't just kind of put a 2 here and then hope that it cancels out. That's completely wrong to do that. In order to get this squared, you've got to square the whole entire thing. If this equals 1, this divided by this equals 1, if you square one of the things in it, it's not going to equal 1 anymore. But if you square 1, something that already equals 1, you just get 1 back. So let's square the whole entire thing. That means that this is squared. The meters is squared, this 1 is squared, and this kilometer is also squared. So now, if we wanted to rewrite this, we'd have 1 kilometer squared multiplied by 1,000 squared, meters squared, 1 squared, kilometers squared. That's what that looks like. And now this kilometer squared cancels with that kilometer squared. You might want to review your math real quick to remind yourself what happens when you square a number like 1,000. It turns out that 10 to the 3 squared is 10 to the 6. 10 to the 6 meters squared. So the answer here is this one. You might want to do about 50 more unit conversions where you have things either squared or even cubed, because volume conversions I see give people all kinds of problems all the time.